Now, there's a lot to cognitive learning, but what I want to emphasize in this third clip of week 8 is the role of prediction. So let's begin with a classic old experiment of a rat in a T-shaped maze learning to run for food. And here's an example of that rat in that maze. And notice that the typical experiment would have the rat run down the maze and turn left to get to the food. And the animal would be trained on that task over and over again. If it goes to the right, it gets nothing. And pretty soon, the animal learns that's the job. Drop it in the maze when it's hungry, it runs down to the left and gets the food. But what happens if you do something like this? What happens if you take that well-trained rat and put it in a situation that looks like this, where now there is a side alley that opened up? On the first trial, what does the rat do? Does the rat run all the way down and turn left like it used to, following its old habit? Or does the rat take the shortcut? Well, what the rat does is take the shortcut. And that shows some kind of insight that it has to the shape of the maze itself. It seems to understand at some level, like you do, that the maze is T-shaped. And if you can cut off the diagonal, you can save some time. So, this work about building up a cognitive map from just being in the environment is something that's gotten a lot of attention recently in neurosciences with the award to O'Keefe of the Nobel Prize. He also got it with a few other people who worked on this for the discovery in the brain of place cells and grid cells and other things which lead to our having a map in our head of how things are laid out. And we know, for example, when we enter the classroom, what the expected basic shape of the classroom is. And many of you sit in the same seats or similar seats. So you find your way to that part of the classroom and sit down because you have a map in your head of where you want to sit. Why you want to sit there is up to you, but the fact is that you have this map. So this kind of higher level processing, which happens automatically, often without our understanding, is still rooted in the basis of prediction. Now, before I end the 3 clips, I want to say that this discussion in the class also involves memory. My intention is to talk about memory more in lecture and leave these videos to begin at least to introduce the field of operant psychology, classical conditioning,